Talking about one-and-done coaches and coaches being on a hot seat, the Colts fired Frank Reich. After 5 seasons, the Indianapolis Colts fired Frank Reich, and this is the first time Jim Irsay has fired a head coach mid-season. The Colts are 3-5-1. Frank Reich now ends his tenure with the Colts with a record of 40-33-1, 1-2 in the playoffs, and he's had 5 different opening day starters at quarterback during his tenure with Indianapolis. You know, Matt Ryan got benched 2 weeks ago, and everybody shit on Matt Ryan. And I said, oh, Sam Ehlinger's going to stink it up. It's inevitable. And then this whole thing's going to collapse. Frank Reich is now gone. After Jim Irsay just went to the media and said his job was safe. I just hope this now opens people's eyes to the fact that it wasn't a Matt Ryan problem.
It always comes back to Matt Ryan.
Because everybody wanted to blame Matt Ryan.
We would never.
The Colts, since benching Matt Ryan, 0-2, 9.5 points per game, worse than the NFL, 11 sacks allowed, fired Frank Reich, and they tried to blame it all on Matty Ice. It wasn't fair. It never was. And the Colts' offensive ranks this season, 27th in yards per game, 30th in yards per pass, 30th in yards per rush, 31st in red zone touchdown percentage. Reich in his first four full seasons, his offense has ranked 10th, 19th, 12th, and 13th. I want to say this. Frank Reich is a good head coach. He's going to bounce back. Despite having a different quarterback every year, his offense has been manageable. And for those 4 full seasons, the Colts were second in points scored on opening drives, only behind the Kansas City Chiefs. And this was with Reich running a new system every single year. Jim Irsay it's clear, he's impulsive, he is desperate, and it showed once again. The benching of Matt Ryan was number 1. I don't believe that was a coaching decision. I believe that was a ownership decision because he wanted to see what Sam Ehlinger had. And Frank Reich wanted to keep Carson Wentz for a second season in Indianapolis. Jim Irsay was the one that didn't want that. He belittled Carson Wentz publicly, shamed him to the media, and basically told everybody that can listen that it was his fault entirely. So Carson Wentz gets traded, although they traded a first-round pick for him to the Eagles. They go get Matt Ryan. It's a major flop. The Colts' downfall is that they've had this quarterback carousel for how many years now? And does Chris Ballard, does Frank Reich, Jim Irsay deserve some blame in this? Yes. I don't think Chris Ballard was ever able to draft a young quarterback, and also he's not somebody who was vouching for it because he's even said before that if I draft a quarterback and it doesn't work out, I'm going to get fired. So he hasn't been willing to take the risk and draft a young quarterback because if you miss on a quarterback, that's your job. With that being said, Andrew Luck is really the reason why this thing is like how it is. It's that simple.
It's not a knock on Luck. It's just the truth.
Frank Reich came into this team, thought he was going to get Andrew Luck. 2018, they make the playoffs. They win a playoff game. They face the Chiefs. They lose. But everybody thought that was going to be a great matchup. And then heading into 2019, Andrew Luck retires out of nowhere. It shocks everybody. And now they're stuck with Jacoby Brissett for the season. That was supposed to be their franchise quarterback. And because Andrew Luck is not there, he retired. They had to shuffle quarterbacks year in and year out, and they had a roster ready to compete. I believe if Andrew Luck was still the quarterback, this team has at least 2 AFC Championship appearances. They're that good. But it's just, it didn't work out that way. At this point, I just feel like the Colts are a mess. You hire Jeff Saturday as an interim head coach. He's a great player, no experience.
High school.
Passed up on John Fox, who's been an NFL head coach. Passed up on Gus Bradley. Passed up on a special teams coordinator who is moving up in the ranks in Bubba Ventrone. And Irsay in his press conference says, Saturday, he's the best man for the job. The last coach I hired as an intern was Bruce Arians. It was the right coach. Bruce Arians had 40 plus years of coaching experience when he made that move. And then he goes on to say, I'm glad Saturday doesn't have any NFL experience. Maybe Jeff Saturday improves the offensive line. Maybe he can go in there and, teach them some things. But this just seems like a franchise that is going downhill. And I feel like their best avenue going forward is offloading their players. Hey, you want Quentin Nelson? Sure. 2nd round pick, 1st round pick. You want DeForest Buckner? Sure. You want Shaq Leonard? Sure. Offloading this team, getting a ton of picks, drafting again, and building this team from the ground up. This team is too expensive. They don't have enough cap room to create flexibility. It's just a mess. And they thought they were quarterback away. They're clearly not. It's just a mess top to bottom. There's a brand new fantasy app. It's called Boom Fantasy. You got over-unders, player props. You got matchups. This player versus that player. That's personally my favorite. And long shots. You can win 40 times your money. And if I'm not mistaken, Joel, NBA is coming soon.
Yes, sir. NBA will be in the app in the next 10 days or so. Wow. I believe opening night is October 19th, so we'll have stuff up a few days beforehand. That's going to be fun because we have it every night. You don't have to wait till Monday, Thursday.
Did you get your code? For the League Pass?
I did get my code for the League Pass.
I got my code too.
Yep, that's amazing.
That's from 2K, right?
Yes.
That's tough.
Amazing.
That's fire.
So if you guys haven't already, download the Boom Fantasy app right now. Link is in our description or in the caption wherever you're watching.
This is on Jim Irsay. All of this is on Jim Irsay. Not only was the press conference, watching it back, it just looked like he was rambling at times. It looked like he was just looking for answers at times. He compared Jeff Saturday coaching to Don Shula getting the job in Miami. I mean, he was saying some really blasphemous stuff.
Did you hear Jeff Saturday go? He went to Jim Irsay, was like, why am I the guy for the job right now?
Jeff Saturday said he was shocked when he got the call. Jeff Saturday was, I think they're during training camp. They said he's been a consultant over the years, just getting his opinion on things, but no head coaching experience at college in the NFL. He was a head coach at high school football.
Did they win?
I have no clue. Like, we know Jeff Saturday, the player. He was fantastic, right? He's a Hall of Fame level player. Played with the Colts, obviously, with Peyton Manning in their heyday.
Love him.
Colts legend for that point. But this really is all on Irsay. You touched on the points, Joel. It started with Carson Wentz last year, trading him. Then it goes to the Matt Ryan benching. Then it goes to Frank Reich being fired, even though 8 days before he said his job was safe. In the press conference, Chris Ballard made it pretty obvious that there was a disagreement between him and Irsay. They said they talked for over 12 hours about this decision.
That don't even make sense.
You don't talk to somebody for 12 hours if you're in agreement. If we agree on something, maybe you lie to the media and be like, yeah, we talked about it for a few hours. You don't talk for 12 hours.
You think that was cap?
About something if you guys are in agreement. So it was pretty obvious that Irsay wanted Reich out while Chris Ballard looked at him and said, you want to hire Jeff Saturday to run this team? No disrespect to Jeff Saturday. He's not qualified for this job. You look at all the people, not just on the coaching staff, but all the people around the league who have years and decades of experience coaching. It's a slap in the face to have Jeff Saturday come in and be the head coach of this football team. He's an Indianapolis Colts legend. I get that. He's in the Ring of Honor. He's a Hall of Famer. I get all of that for sure. But it's a slap in the face to all of the people who have put in decades of work to be a head coach just to get stepped over by Jeff Saturday. And I understand it from the Colts perspective because if it fails, it's supposed to fail. Everyone knows it's going to fail. There's no reason he should be the head coach. If it succeeds, Jim Irsay looks like a genius if this somehow works out. This move really just shows how important ownership is in the NFL. Having a stable owner, having someone that isn't meddling, that interferes in the draft and trades and free agency and coaching decisions and personnel decisions. The owners that stay away from that typically have the better teams because they leave the football decisions to the football people instead of going and calling Jeff Saturday while he was home with his family, probably getting ready for his ESPN job to get on air. The move makes no sense to me. The team is in shambles. I was actually just texting my friend who's a Colts fan, and I said the Jets clear you guys right now as an organization. It makes no sense. Jim Irsay has completely butchered all of this. This was a team, and his first point coming in was, since 2000, we're the 4th winningest organization. You got Peyton Manning to thank for that. You got Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck for some years. But since then, it's been him just making poor decision after poor decision. Frank Reich was really one of his better decisions he's made. Chris Ballard, for the most part, has been a good GM. He's made a lot of good draft picks. Haven't been able to figure out quarterback. I don't expect Jeff Saturday to work, But for Jim Irsay, if it works, he looks like a genius, and that's what it seems like matters to him right now.
And Frank Reich was supposed to be Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, Frank Reich was the second option for the Colts. Josh McDaniels backed out the last minute. They got lucky. Frank Reich is a better coach than Josh McDaniels.
If the Colts wanted to go for a player that used to play for them, but actually has experience, they could have just looked within their organization and brought Reggie Wayne up to head coaching job. He's the receiving coach right now. Why not promote him? You wanted some history. You wanted someone who has Indianapolis in their blood. Reggie Wayne was a perfect candidate for that.
And real quick, not to cut you off, but they have nobody on the staff with play calling experience on offense. They hired, not hired, but they promoted 30-year-old quarterback coach, passing game coordinator. I'm not sure his name. He's going to be, for the first time now in his life, calling plays with Sam Ehlinger out there, and probably no Jonathan Taylor. So that should be fun.
It's like, yes, are there coaches right now in the NFL that have played football? Yes. Mike Vrabel, Dan Campbell, who could definitely be better. There's a ton other that I just not thinking off the top of my head. Jeff Saturday just has zero coaching experience. This was a very interesting decision, but why are we surprised when Jim Irsay is the one making the decision? Jim Irsay has made bad decision after bad decision constantly throughout the years. You guys both said a lot of right, and it's going to be a lot of me reiterating. Andrew Luck did set this organization back years. That was the piece that was supposed to hold them over for 15-plus years. Andrew Luck couldn't stay healthy. When he did, he was amazing. But then suddenly in 2019, he decides to walk away because he's done with the rehab process. I can respect that man to man. He's caring about himself, his family. I'm cool with that. He has enough money to take care of him for the rest of his life. He made that decision as a man, and no one should be mad at him for it. But if you're an Indianapolis Colts fan, you have to sit here and understand that that was a move that changed the entire landscape of the Indianapolis Colts. So you can only place so much blame on Frank Reich. Should Frank Reich have been better should the Colts have been better this year? Yes. Have they been one of the more disappointing teams? Probably the second most disappointing team in the National. There's a few. You look at Tampa Bay, you look at Green Bay, you look at Denver, who I see as the most disappointing team right now. The Colts are definitely in that conversation as well, though. So, did you need to find someone to place blame on? You did it with Matt Ryan. That wasn't necessarily the case because Sam Ehlinger came in and he was horrible. Then you decide to put it on Frank Reich, and now you're bringing in a coach who has zero head coaching experience. And now what are we going to do here and sit here and say that Jeff Saturday's now the blame? How about we just have a sit-back internalization at the front office and realize we made a mistake, we need to blow this all up, and we need to start from the ground up again. I think that's their only decision right now. And if you want Jeff Saturday to be at the forefront of that, fine. But I better not be seeing blame on him, and I better be seeing him as the head coach for years to come. And if he's just a placeholder for this season, then you're just allowing us to have this conversation and you be embarrassed for a couple months.
You mentioned it. Is he a placeholder for this season? You know, we got 8-9 games left in the NFL season. What is Jeff Saturday? Is he the interim? Is he gonna be here for long? What are they gonna do? Like, what's?
It doesn't seem like Jeff Saturday even knows.
Yeah, like what's the goal here? Because I think we all can agree the Colts season is over. You know, Sam Ehlinger is the QB. Matt Ryan is gonna be here too much longer. You know, he's pretty old in the age. So what's the goal here? You mentioned offloading a couple of these guys, but what can he show you in these 8 to 9 games with this roster that's a shit show already? That like with no experience. I don't understand the mission here. I don't understand where's the avenue, where's the lane that they're trying to go to. You know, it just seems like the word I want to use, just a pretty dumb decision. You should have just honestly finished the season at this point. You know, you're already losing. You know, at this point the roster's done, but you're bringing a guy with no experience. It's tough. You know, we threw jokes all year on Matt Ryan. It was funny. You know, he was playing like shit. That's what we do up here. But in reality, it wasn't just his fault. You know, he had some blames. He couldn't hold on to the ball. He was making bad decisions. He looked a little old, but JT wasn't doing his thing that he should. The offensive line did not do the thing that they should have. The receivers was dog shit. So you got to look at everybody. You got to look at from top to bottom. But what is Jeff Saturday going to do that Frank Reich couldn't with no experience? So, like, what's the purpose? And you mentioned offloading the players. Do the Colts even feel like they're in that type of mode? Like, their mindset, I think they think they're still a good team. They're just a quarterback away.
And the issue with Irsay calling the shots right now is he going to be willing to trade all of these guys to get draft picks when he wants to win? He wants to be the winningest organization since 2000.
With Rod Payne Manning and
look
Andrew Luck.
who they're paying. They're paying a guard and Quentin Nelson, a linebacker, and Darius Leonard, off the ball linebacker, an interior defensive lineman, DeForest Buckner. Like they don't have the elite edge rusher or a quarterback. Obviously, Michael Pittman and Pierce are solid, but when you look at the really, really important positions that everyone around the league that are thriving have,
they have no game changer. They have GT, and last year he showed us something, but they don't have no real consistent game changer. They don't have a consistent week-by-week game changer, and that's the problem when you're in the AFC. The Chiefs have a game changer. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. The Dolphins have a game changer. Tyreek fucking Hill. The Bills have a game changer. What?
You're not going to include two in that?
The Bills have a game changer. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Well, he's not a game changer.
No, he
yet.
is a game changer.
All right, but you know what I'm saying? Like the top of the top of the top of the dogs.
Jalen Waddle is in that.
Waddle has put himself in the top 10 conversation.
Waddle is a game changer. You fucking happy now?
I am.
The Bills, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Like AFC has game changers. Even the Bengals. Jamar Chase is a fucking game changer.
Sure.
So it's like
even the Jets.
Okay.
Brees Hall.
When healthy.
Jesus. He's not playing. So let's,
Garrett Wilson slow.
Baltimore. Lamar fucking Jackson. What do the
Mark
Colts
Andrews.
have? Like, what are we doing here? They have Darius Leonard is a great player.
They got Deshaun Jackson too.
Who got hurt?
Again, with a hamstring? I bet you it was a hamstring.
It was a hamstring.
I knew it was a hamstring. Jesus
Too
Christ.
fast for his
Bro
own
ran
good.
fucking 4 go routes. And
Bro, for the Eagles, had 150 yards first week, hamstring. Couldn't play no more. It's like, yeah, bro. Yeah, the Colts don't have Darius Leonard, great player. Buckner, great player. Quentin Nelson, when he plays, great player. But it's like, no, it's nothing, bro.
It's sad. It is sad for the Colts.
Whatever.
Move on. Fuck them.
Damn.
Sorry.
I feel bad. I mean,
I don't.
you hate to see it, man.
They had years and years to get it right for Andrew Luck.
Wasn't Andrew Luck he kept getting sacked? That's why he
Yeah,
was
so they never had a
Exactly.
line. Never.
Andrew Luck retired because he was tired of rehabbing. That's why.
Respect the fuck out of him.
No, but
So
the
is that
rehab
really
process
his fault, or is that their fault for not getting him to
It's
help?
Irsay
their
never got him
fault.
a line. Never got him a
their
line.
fault.
But then when they got him one,
Oh, he just got out of it?
he stopped. He stopped playing.
They got him on for like 1 year?
He had it for 1 year. He was unreal.
Well, he couldn't do it. He was
Next
getting headaches.
year,
He was probably
had
getting
it-
like
had it-
headaches.
had
That
and
was
shit.
Deflategate year, right?
Yeah.
Deflategate.